Hajime Gumo is a weak-ass high school nerd who gets his hairy ass thrown into another world, only to get smacked down again like the universe just hates his existence. While everyone else got stats, skills, and curves that could make even Kim Kardashian jealous, Hajime is an even bigger loser than those still crying in the friend zone. If he wants to survive, he needs to body some monsters and lock down a sugar mommy, or else he's gonna rot away fapping himself into an early grave. Yu is writing about what happened earlier, like when they went to the volcanic labyrinth and a demon attacked Hajime. She also remembers when Hajime killed one of the gods and the demon ran away after taking one of Hajime's classmates as a hostage. Currently, the part is going to the Sea of Trees. Suddenly, Hajime arrives and Yu quickly covers her book so she doesn't get embarrassed. He asks what the hell she's up to and Yu tells him that it is a secret. Hajime asks the princess if she wants to be dropped off at the border of the empire, and Shizuku wonders if she's going to meet the Holscher Empire's emperor. Kaori finds it fascinating, but Hajime tells her not to meet them as their nation is a bunch of mercenaries and crooks who kill anyone who doesn't obey them. One of them says that it is completely different from the kingdom of Heli, but the princess reveals that it is a command by the god that any magic best without magic is evil, and when she looks at she feels embarrassed as she looks disappointed. She reveals that before she met Hajime and the others, they were killed and massacred by the soldiers of Vebergen. The princess feels sorry and says that she will try her best to find out what happened, but Kuki gets pissed and tells Nagumi that they should help the beastmen first, but Hajime has no interest in it as it is very common in this world. Hajime tells Kuki that he can go ahead if he wants to, but he can't do anything alone, so he leaves the room. Shizuku arrives and wonders if Kuki is alright. Kuki is pissed that Hajime is so calm in such a situation and feels like he has given up on people, but Shizuku tells him that it is different. Suddenly, the plane changes course as they see two bunny girls being chased by the Imperial soldiers. They are Lana and Mina, so Kuki says Hajime to go to their aid, but he doesn't give a. Suddenly, the bunny girls blow off the heads of the soldiers because they are strong and independent women. In the blink of an eye, the bunnies take out the whole Imperial soldiers. Hajime sees this, and just when one of them is about to kill the bunnies, Hajime shoots him down from the sky. They land, and the bunnies are happy to see their boss. Par greets him, and the whole starts arguing about the nickname of Hajime. Shizuku and Suzu start laughing, which makes him pissed. Hajime takes Par and the gang to the ship, and he reveals that they were not being attacked by the Imperial soldiers. Instead, they were here to capture them. He also mentions that some monsters took out their members and a bunch of Imperial soldiers, and the chief Cam also went to the study, but he has not returned ever since. She gets concerned, so Hajime decides to change the course, but she tells him to go to the Great Labyrinth. Hajime grabs her cheeks, and just when he is about to see some plot, Hajime starts yapping about how precious she is to her, and they decide to go to the Empire and get the chief back. Meanwhile, in the Holscher, a giant bunny is seen in a prison waiting to be unleashed. The party reaches the Empire, and they are flabbergasted to see a bunch of captured beastmen and jack lunatics partying everywhere. Hajime tells them that this is a military nation, so it is obvious to see such things, but then they see the damaged Doom. It is destroyed by the demons, and the beastmen are trying to repair it. Suddenly, one of the kids falls, and an Imperial soldier is about to punish him when Koki shouts at him, but Hajime flicks his stick. He tells Koki to stay out of trouble and not get involved in such shit, as they have to gather intel first. Koki is frustrated, but Hajime is right in his own way. Shizuku is watching all of this, and Tio tells her that she has a keen eye for information. After that, Hajime tells everyone to gather information about the chief and his family. In the afternoon, they gather, and it turns out that the chief kicked the butt of the Empire's army so hard that they had taken him to the castle. Hajime says that he will carry on the investigation alone with Yu, so the girls start thinking that they are planning for mini Hajime. However, it is revealed by Hajime that they have to torture some people brutally so everyone cannot see it. At night, everyone looks at Yu with a concerned look as she's glowing brightly, so they ask what did they do. Hajime tells them that Yu sucked her blood, but he was just kidding because he is not a dog on heat. The girls shut their mouths, and Hajime tells them that the chief is being held in the city, so they will infiltrate the castle today along with Yu and she. Kuki wants to help as well, so Hajime tells him that the soldiers are too much for them, hence the hero party will cause a diversion. He summons 4 helmets from the Power Rangers and gives each of those to the heroes, but the pink is for Shizuku. She opposes wearing it, but everyone starts teasing her, saying that she likes cute and fluffy things. At night, Hajime teleports to the prison, and a bunch of the soldiers are talking shit about him, but there's a pin-drop silence when the boss starts talking. He pulls out one of the inmates and tells him to keep his mouth shut. Meanwhile, the heroes start their distraction, but the soldiers mock their masks, especially Shizuku, because she looks cute. Hajime reaches the cell where Cam is held, and it turns out that he has completely lost his brain cells. She is ashamed to see her father in this condition. After releasing all the beastmen, Cam tells Hajime that they will take on the Empire once and for all because they have been attacking them for centuries and the Emperor wants to take them captive. She gets pissed, but Hajime grabs her tail to calm her down. Cam explains that they have been trained well by Hajime, and if the Empire sees them as weak prey, they will all be dead, so they will slowly assassinate the Empire. She doesn't like it and Hajime grabs her cheeks, saying that he won't get involved in the fight, but he will help them. Instead of going for negotiation, the bastard tells the Holia's tribe to take the Empire head-on and take it down once and for all. Just like a proud Andrew Tate follower, he infuriates them and tells them to behead the Emperor as all of the world watches it. This makes the rabbits ignited with fuel as they prepare to take out the Empire. The next morning, instead of taking down the castle, Hajime is taking down Yu, and they get all lusty over each other. Hajime tells Yu that she is important to her, and Yu says that she is dissatisfied, so they start plotting again when suddenly Cookie calls him. Hajime wants to kill the bastard, but they want to continue their takedown and everyone sees them. All the girls feel jealous to see such a beautiful thing in the morning. As all of this plotting is going on, Princess Lily is in the castle, and she wants to tell something bad to the Emperor. She reveals that all of the High Kings were killed by Hajime and the Emperor should stay away from him as well. Not only that, the princess wants Gahard's soldiers, which he agrees to send. However, Gahard tells her about the prison break and a bunch of lunatics who infiltrated the castle with masks. Lily wonders if they were beastmen, but she's crying from inside because only one bastard can do this. The Emperor also reveals that some of the prisoners break out without anyone even noticing, and the rabbit beastmen were very aggressive. Lily thinks that rabbit beastmen are a sign of peace, but since they are under Hajime, she can't expect anything peaceful. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door and the soldier tells the Emperor that there are some guests for the princess. Turns out that Hajime and the heroes have arrived to talk with the Emperor after causing all of that havoc yesterday. The commander invites them, but he sees someone familiar, which turns out to be she. She remembers this bastard who killed her family members, but Hajime steps in and gives him a death stare. They meet with the princess, but Lily is pissed as to why they are here, and she also knows that Hajime made the heroes wear masks and do that crazy shit. Hajime acts like a spoiled brat and doesn't tell her anything. He just says that she will find out everything tonight. The princess gets frustrated, but the Emperor sends a guard to take them to the Capitol Hall. All of the party members go to meet the king and Hajime greets him, but Gahard knows who he is. So Hajime reveals that he is the monster that the princess talked about. Gahard asks if Hajime can really make weapons and artifacts that can do the job of 100 black men, to which Hajime replies positively. The Emperor asks if he would like to share it, but Hajime knows about the plot running in the Emperor's mind, so Gahard tells everyone to stand down. He is actually really happy to finally see a worthy opponent. He wants to have some beautiful waifus for himself, and Hajime wants to get rid of Tio, so he offers her. But Garrett wants she as his gift. Hajime has no interest in girls because he follows David Goggins. Suddenly, Garrett is excused by his guard to make preparations for the engagement ceremony, and everyone is shocked to see that Lily is marrying Bias. Koki objects to this decision, but Hajime just gives him a cold shoulder and leaves. Just before the party, Bias walks in to check on Lily, and when the guards leave her alone, he grabs her juggernaut and wants to ride on it. Turns out that Bias watches too many videos, so he wants to punish Lily. He tears her dress, and just when the plot is about to start, a metal spider knocks his ass out. Lily is at ease because Hajime is watching over her, and at night, the clan dresses up because the real party is about to begin. At night, the castle is ready to throw a party while the bunny beastmen throw the heads of the Empire's soldiers. The assassination has begun and nobody knows about it. Turns out that Hajime has given all of them some kind of AirPods so they can stay connected. The party is in the castle and everyone is shocked to see the Luish dishes and the Great Palace. Meanwhile, Kaori and Yu are getting stares from the men of culture. Suddenly, Princess Lily arrives, but she is wearing a black gown, and the prince is already beaten up. Everyone wonders if the princess kicked the butt of the prince. The girls are curious about what happened to Lily, and Shizuku knows that it is Hajime's fault. Hajime explains that she was getting assaulted, so he just helped her, which makes everyone concerned. Hajime covers this up by taking Yu to the dance, and the girls think that Hajime is a pedophile. Hajime dances with Yu, and Lily arrives to ask Hajime if he would like to dance with him. Yu understands the assignment and goes away so Hajime can dance with the princess. Lily is depressed because it is probably the last time she's going to meet her friends. She asks Hajime what would he do if her husband assaulted her. Hajime replies that he will surely come to his aid and she shouldn't worry because the Empire will be flat like her chest by the end of the night. Lily looks confused because she doesn't know about the real party. Suddenly, the HQ tells everyone that they are now going for the Emperor, and they will put an end to his ruthless reign. Out of nowhere, a bunch of rabbits shoots arrows at the king, but he protects himself with magic. However, the bunnies cut the heads of all of his soldiers. Cam comes face to face with Gahard, and the guests wonder if a rabbit beastman can really be this strong. Meanwhile, the commander is running towards the main hall when she appears and tells them to kill her first if they want to go past her. The guards take it as a joke, but she smacks the crap out of them. After that, she goes for the commander and her hammer sends him flying to the smithereens. On the other hand, the poisons in the air start affecting the Emperor, and the arrows make him scream in pain. Cam pulls out an oath necklace and puts it around Gahard's neck, which can kill anyone if they break their oath. Cam demands that the Empire should free all the beastmen and never come for them ever again. But Gahard is a cocky bastard, so he doesn't comply with their demands. Hence, the heads of his soldiers, including his son, fly everywhere, and after that, the rabbits start blowing up the barracks, killing thousands of soldiers. Cam threatens to level out the whole empire, and Gahard is left with no other choice but to accept his demands. So he gets up and takes an oath that he will obey their demands and stop the beastmen's slavery. After that, Cam contacts Hajime and praises him for giving them strong leadership because, without his training and tactics, they would have always remained on the verge of extinction. The lads take the Emperor and the rabbit beastmen with them to the Sea of Trees to make them reunite with their families. Meanwhile, Gahard starts yapping about his wealth and wants Hajime to give him this spaceship. But Hajime doesn't care, so Gahard tries to take a different approach. He asks Lily if he saw her dancing with Hajime, so they might be developing some plot. Lily blushes, and Hajime tells the bastard that he would rather die than marry the princess. The princess considers herself an ugly woman, but Gahard is just trying to make Hajime give him the spaceship. He asks Hajime what he wishes for, and he tells him that he only wishes to clap you and she together. At night, they reach the forest, but it turns out to be burnt out. The rabbit beastmen get scared to see the gigantic spaceship, but when they see the other beastmen, they are very happy to reunite with their lost family. However, the sudden landing of the aircraft has leveled the trees of the forest, so Kaori jumps in and uses her magic to summon the trees. All the villagers think that she is some kind of goddess, so they start praising her. The leader of the beastmen appreciates the help of Hajime, but he reveals that the Holias are the ones to be thanked. Suddenly, Cam steps up to come face to face with the leader and signals his members to come out. He is a true follower of Commander Erwin, so he gives a hot, spicy speech to all the rabbit beastmen. Cam tells them that the world will soon come to hunt them again, so they should gear up and be prepared for it. Hence, he offers everyone to join the Holias tribe. All the rabbits are ready to obey Cam's command. At night, all the elders and the hero party gather for a meeting, but the only bastard is Gahard. He acts like a spoiled brat and doesn't listen to the leader. He says that he only obeys those who are stronger than him, like a good maid. Hajime can't take this anymore, so he picks him, saying that he will throw him to the Empire right now. Gahard wants to do some trash talk first, but Hajime just throws him inside the portal. He leaves the meeting saying that he is too tired and orders Cam to take him to his settlement. After that, the elders offer Cam a palace as an elder in the Sea of Trees, but Cam doesn't give a crap about them and says that he is not an ally. The elders get shocked, and Cam tells him that they only work for their boss and the future of the rabbitmen. So if they try to come in their way, he will blow their heads off. As Hajime is resting in Yu's lap, Cam comes in and wants to talk with him alone. Cam takes her to She, and she is standing in front of a large tree. She tells her that this is the place where her mother is buried, and Hajime pays his gratitude to his mother for giving birth to such a beautiful rabbit. They go to the top of the tree, and Hajime, just like a playboy, sleeps in She's lap. The next day, the Holias tribe and the hero party warm up and reach the Great Labyrinth, which is nothing else than a giant tree. To make it less difficult to clear the labyrinth, Hajime sends Princess Lily back to where he found him, and her friends are very concerned about what happened to her. Lily tries to cover it up with some lame excuses, but just like a strong woman, she starts crying about how Hajime is so cold-hearted and doesn't give her any attention. Lily starts yapping about everything that happened to her, and her friends know that her screws are loose for now. Meanwhile, Hajime senses a great danger in the labyrinth, so he tells Cam to take the Holias back. He puts the emblems in the rune stone and starts to glow. Suddenly, Yu sees a giant tree with similar patterns, and she uses her magic to cast a powerful spell which takes them to the real labyrinth. Kaki takes the lead and everyone follows him, but suddenly, Hajime entangles Tio, Sakagami, and Yu. He blows their heads off, but it turns out that they were just some cheap copies from Alibaba. Hajime says that he loves Yu's smell, and her plot was even smaller to Yu, so he knew that they were not real. As they are going through a thick forest, a bunch of monsters attack them, and the hero party tries to take them on. But they are too much for them, so Hajime and the others have to step in. Out of nowhere, an ugly goblin pops up, and just when Koki is about to cut it, Hajime comes flying with a thunder kick. Koki gets pissed after getting his ass kicked, and Hajime tells them that this is not a goblin but Yu. They start wondering if Hajime is a god of spies, but he just covers it up, saying that the goblin has lovely eyes like Yu. Turns out that Yu turned into a goblin after entering the Great Labyrinth, and they can't even speak. Hajime asks Kaori to turn her into a human, but her magic isn't working. So Hajime gives her a stone which allows her to talk even in her goblin. After that, they venture deeper into the forest where they find Tio getting her ass kicked by a bunch of goblins. Turns out that Haltina is testing their bonds, so Hajime gets out his rocket launcher to find a new opening. Everyone goes through it, and suddenly, Hajime is transferred to his real world where Yu comes in to wake him up. They go to the school, and She arrives to hug Hajime. He gets confused as to why two hot chicks are loving him. They go to the class where Kaori tries to make a move on Hajime, which pisses off Yu. As the trio is going home, Yu joins Hajime and they start going towards their home, but Hajime keeps spacing out because something feels wrong. Suddenly, they see a bunch of bastards harassing a woman, so Hajime goes for his gun, but there is nothing. She takes them out, but Hajime keeps hearing a voice. The next day, Yu arrives in a black dress, and Hajime knows that something is off. The world is too kind and there's nothing bad in this world, which wakes up the real Hajime from his sleep and the illusion breaks. Turns out the Haltina is still testing them, and when Hajime wakes up, he sees that everyone around him is in chambers, including you, which means that they are also getting illusions just like he was. Hence, if they have to survive, everyone must break free from the illusion and accept the reality. Hajime senses that all of his friends are still alive and all they need to do is just break the illusion. Hajime sits down next to Yu, tells her to come back to him. Suddenly, the portal breaks and Hajime picks her up. Yu opens her eyes and she wonders if this Hajime is real. But our boy knows how to rise her up and tells her that she looked beautiful in the school uniform. Yu reveals that Hajime and her was a royal couple and they had 11 kids. Just when they were about to start plotting, she broke their bond, but she started crying cause nobody cares about her like me. Hajime asks what she sees in her dream and she explains that she is fighting alongside her friends and Hajime hugs her to welcome her back. Next, Teo wakes up but Hajime can't hug her due to her giant milk factories, so he just pats her on the head. After that, Kaori pops up and she looks embarrassed because she had some perverted dreams with Hajime. All of Hajime's members are back, but the heroes have not returned yet. They wait for a long time and Shizuku is the next to pop out. Her face is red as she looks around, so Yu asks what she saw in her dream. Shizuku also had some lewd dream about Hajime, but Shizuku covers it up saying that she had a dream about her friends. Now Kuki, Sakagami, and Suzu are left, but they don't have any time, so Kaori uses her magical powers and breaks the illusions of the heroes. Everyone is back in the real world and now it is time to move on to the next stage. As they move on to the next stage, everyone seems to be in one piece and there is no imposter among them. Everything is oddly quiet and suddenly, raindrops start to fall. But they are in a tree, so Hajime shouts to make a barrier. Yu makes the barrier and a slime attacks them. It comes from beneath and everyone fights it off, but all the girls get bathed in the slime. So the heroes can't get their minds straight and they start looking at things that nobody should look at without consent. Kuki sees Shizuku's giant melons and his emotions start to get the better of him. Hajime senses the commotion and uses his flamethrowers to burn everything around. He tells Yu to still keep the barrier up, but Yu takes it down and runs towards Hajime because she is seduced by the slime. All the girls want Hajime to clap them, and it is all due to the pleasure effect of the slime. However, the only one not affected is Teo, because she is of ripe age and nobody can seduce a sugar mommy. After all the seductive effects wear off, the party continues its journey deeper into the trees, and Teo explains that this tree is so huge that what they saw on the top was just the tip of the iceberg. She hears a strange noise coming from beneath, and when she looks at it, she gets chills all over her body. Hajime takes a look down and gets scared as well. Turns out that these are the demons of the kitchen and everyone can shit their pants after seeing one. However, there are millions of them here, so Hajime tells them to avoid these demons because they can also fly. Just when things couldn't get worse, the cockroaches come flying towards them and Suzu puts a barrier. Yu reinforces it, but the cockroaches start to make a portal. Just like that, giant roaches summon and they cast a magical spell that makes the members hate each other. Due to the strong bond of the heroes, they can still communicate and agree with each other. But as the emotions are reversed, they start liking the roaches. So they agree to take out the cockroaches even though they look too cute. Hajime and Yu fly out of the barrier to take them out, but Suzu starts loving them so much that she lowers her barrier. Thanks to Teo's fire magic, she was able to hold them off, and so Kuki started yapping that he couldn't hurt such beautiful creatures. Shizuku tries to throw some sense into him by revealing that their emotions are not real. Hence, they start fighting the cute cockroaches. She flies above and starts taking them out with her hammer, but Kaori thinks that she's a low-life weakling. Teo explains that Kaori is also special, but she is the one to be the bravest thanks to her spirits, which pissed off Kaori. After a long yapping of Shi's personality, Kaori gets tired of Teo, so she jumps in to save Shizuku. The magic is weakening, and all of the heroes are now fighting the cockroaches thanks to their bonds. On the other hand, Yu and Hajime are taking out a bunch of insects, but they seem to have regenerative power, so the large ones can reform using the small ones. Yu summons her dragons, but they are still not enough to take them out. Hajime also tries his best to take down the damn roaches, but they are just too many. The hate spell is still in effect, so Hajime and Yu are still trash-talking while helping each other. Since there are too many of them, Hajime goes all out and so does Yu. They use their best weapons and magic spells, but nothing is enough to take down millions of roaches. Hajime wonders if Yu is still holding back, and Yu says that she is preparing a strong magic spell to take them out once and for all. Hajime protects Yu with all of his tools, and Yu makes a magical bomb that blows off everything in the vicinity. The spell breaks, and Hajime is impressed that Yu can cast such magic, which can only work on the target she selects. As a sign of appreciation, Yu bites Hajime to give him a hickey. Suddenly, a portal appears and roots come out of it, which will take the heroes to the next trial. As they enter the next portal, they see a green and peaceful forest with no magic beasts. Tada reveals that this is the top of the magical tree, and thanks to the concealment magic, they weren't able to see it from the sky. Hajime looks around and they see the giant rune in front of the tree. Suddenly, Shizuku gets a headache and the goddess Haltina appears in front of them. She congratulates them on passing through all of her trials, but she also apologizes for doing so because not everyone is worthy of great magic. She reveals that the bond between gods and humans is very delicate, so she can upgrade all of their magic powers to the next level, but after combining all of them, the gods have made 3 concept magics, one of which is a magical compass that can guide anyone anywhere. Hajime grabs it, and Haltina explains that this compass can even take someone to the other world, which flips a switch in Hajime's head. Hearing the words that he can go back to his real world feels more like a blessing to him. Although he will need some more magical objects, there's still hope for Hajime to return. After that, Haltina goes back and Yu comes near Hajime. He asks if they can go to the other world using spatial magic, but Yu apologizes. So it is clear that Hajime would really love to go back to his real world, but he cheers up everyone saying that they still have a long way to go. Cookie hesitates to ask something, but Suzu spills the beans. So Hajime says that he will surely take them with him to the other world if they would like to. Suddenly, she gets a flashback of Hajime from high school and tears start to roll up. They go back to the Labyrinth, and there the Princess Altina tries her best to get Hajime laid. All girls are offended to look at this sight, and they want to blow her head off. She gets up and slaps Altina, which makes her insane. She starts laughing instead of crying, but everyone is concerned about her undergarments. Tio is very happy to see someone as crazy as her, but she is still pissed. She doesn't want any more rivals, so Hajime gets up and rizzes her up, saying that she is the only one special to her and nobody can take her place. Meanwhile, Altina is still in disbelief that someone has slapped her. She acts like a pervert to Shi and says that both of them are princesses, so they should be friends. She is hesitant because of Altina's behavior, but she can't refuse anyone's friend's request, so Altina gets happy. She that they can play with each other in a room, and Shi throws her to the ground for her pervy acts. After the rest of the gang leaves, Kaori asks Hajime if he holds Shi dear to her. Hajime is confused because he doesn't even know what he feels for Shi, but she is irreplaceable to him. Kaori gets happy, a sinister smile appears on her face, but Yu gets pissed and the duo starts fighting. Tio gets the opportunity to make her move, but Hajime says that he doesn't like a granny. In the afternoon, Hajime is approached by Shi, and she asks about what Hajime said earlier. Hajime explains that she is so special to her that he can't replace her, and not only that, he grabs Shi and they start their plot. Turns out that everyone is watching them, and Shi gets embarrassed to see this, but they have some reason instead of peeping. Suzu wants to get stronger, so she requests Hajime to take her to the Labyrinth next time, but Hajime is concerned about her. He says that he will take her to Japan if she doesn't go with him, and he can make her stronger by upgrading her artifacts. Suzu insists that she wants to meet Eri once again, but Hajime will kill her once he sees her to take Kor's revenge. But Suzu wants to take her to Japan as well, and so all the heroes want to help Suzu and kick Eri's butt. However, Hajime has only one condition. If Eri turns hostile, he will finish her once and for all. After that, we see Eri with Freed as she shows him her magic beastman and corpse, which can take down anyone. The next day, everyone in the world starts seeing a bright star, but when Miu sees her, it turns out to be the goddess. At night, Shizuku is training for her big day to take down the Great Labyrinth when Hajime arrives. He gives her a towel to soak her sweat so he can suck it afterwards, but Hajime finds it as if Shizuku is acting strange. He comes closer to her, and Shizuku thinks that he is a pervert, but Hajime just wants to enhance the black sword and give it to her. Hajime uses his magical ring to strengthen the sword, and Shizuku just looks at him like a lovely waifu. The next day, the party makes their way to the Great Labyrinth when they reach the frost caverns, which are covered with thick clouds. Hajime tells the rest of the gang that the compass is working pretty smoothly, but it consumes a lot of mana. They land the ship, and she is eagerly waiting to touch the snow. However, the snow gets the better of her when she gets out and falls into the abyss. The rest of the gang follows her, and they miraculously find her in one piece. Hajime smacks on her head, calling her an idiot for getting too carried away. The frost cavern is a very dangerous place, and they should stick together. They follow the compass, and suddenly, all of them stop due to a sudden sound. Out of nowhere, a rabbit arrives, and Shizuku is amazed to see a fluffy animal and wants to pet her. However, she forgets to keep up her low profile, and everyone looks at her weirdly. Shizuku covers it up, saying that they are fluffy monsters, and just like that, Hajime starts killing them one by one. The girls are shocked to see such a soulless master, and she just gets knocked out. The girls are still in trauma after seeing all of this bloodshed, but Hajime explains that they were real monsters with magic that absorbs the heat of the person they hug. Now they have to pass through a windstorm, and Taiyo wants to make a shield so they don't get frostbites. However, Suzu volunteers to do so. As they venture deeper, they get ambushed by a bunch of frost falcons and monsters. Hajime gets into action but notices the strange red ore working as the controller for the monsters. Suddenly, a giant tortoise arises from the wall, and frost wolves are also summoned. The heroes fight them, but Cookie wants to take them down the boss by himself so they can finally prove themselves as the better group than Agami. Cookie uses his sword slashes to take out one of its eyes, but it quickly regenerates himself. So they have to be quick, and Cookie devises a plan to use the full force of the holy sword. Hence, he orders the other members to protect him and make some time for him before he unleashes his attack on the giant bastard. The rest of the members oblige and they start attacking the tortoise. This gives Kuki the time to fully charge his sword, and with just a single mighty blow, he takes out the giant bastard. However, the red ore is still in one piece and a frost falcon takes it to resummon the boss, but Shizuku destroys the falcon, revealing a new entrance. They decide to continue their journey, but Kuki feels uneasy and the labyrinth takes over his mind, so he starts hearing whispers and voices. As they are going through the labyrinth, Kuki starts hearing more and more voices, but when he tells the rest of the members, they don't seem to hear anything. She can't hear anything, nor does Hajime detect a magical presence. Tio thinks that it is nothing else but the pressure of the labyrinth, but the voice is very familiar for Kuki. He thinks that he has already heard this voice somewhere, and suddenly, Shizuku hears it as well. She hears the voice of a girl, and she also thinks that it sounds very familiar, but she doesn't exactly know who's talking to her. Just like that, everyone starts to hear a familiar voice they might have heard somewhere. Hajime reveals that this is nothing but their own voice. Hajime senses that there is a room nearby and they should take some rest there. However, Shizuku is still a bit sad, and we see her in a school where Kaori nominates her as the princess and Kaori wants to be the knight. But other students say that Kaori is not cut out to be a knight and Shizuku will be a better option. So Shizuku suggests that she would be a knight and makes everyone laugh. She remembers how she always prioritizes others over herself, and that's why everyone uses her. That's when she starts hearing the girl's voice again, and a witch appears in front of her who is her alter ego. Suddenly, Shizuku wakes up and she remembers that they are taking a rest, and it was all just an illusion. Suzu asks if something is wrong with Shizu, but she declines. After a while, they continue their journey and Kuki is getting the hang of the voice. He punches the ice wall in frustration, but when he looks closely at the wall, he sees his own reflection, which smirks and its eyes are glowing bright red. Kuki screams and he pulls out his sword to attack, but the reflection disappears and everyone has their guard up. A few inches afterward, they see another entrance and a bunch of frost giants appear to fend them off. Everyone jumps into action, but suddenly, Kuki attacks Hajime and Kaori attacks Yu. They are able to block their attacks, but why did the heroes attack them? Turns out that the whispering voices are getting a hold of the subconsciousness of their minds. Hajime gets pissed and he pulls out his giant rocket launcher to take out the enemies once and for all. Kaori uses her magical slash, but it gets deflected again, so she tells Yu to deflect it and it kills the Frost Guardian. Shizuku can't use her long-range magic as well, hence she was all in on sword mashing. One by one, all enemies are taken out. Kaori is impressed by Shizuku, so she hugs her and everyone thinks that they secretly love each other. Just like us, we want to see them plot with each other, but Shizuku declines. Out of the dust, a slash comes towards Hajime from Kuki, but he absorbs it. The heroes have also finished their job and Kaori heals them up. The cost is clear and Hajime asks everyone if they want to take some rest for now or push forward. Everyone agrees to keep moving and hence they venture into the gate, but Hajime sees that all of his friends are now gone. It means that the chamber is divided into parts and everyone has to face themselves alone. Hajime looks at the diamond wall and he really thinks that he can't go to Japan looking like this, and that voice was right. But the voice tells him that he wasn't talking about this and Hajime starts smirking. His shadow says that Hajime is a hard nut to crack and he doesn't even flinch. It is because Hajime already knows the concept of the labyrinth. The main plot revolves around making the other person overcome themselves by showing them their negative side and dark desires. The shadow likes it and it comes out as an African American. Now we can clearly see the difference between the two. Hence, they start their battle and both of them know their exact moves. They evade and block each other's attacks with ease, but the black Hajime starts yapping too much. He puts a scar on Hajime's face and tells him that nobody would like a monster even if he returned home. Hajime's dark reality starts to take over his mind, and the guy keeps saying about how dark and brutal Hajime is in reality. He also adds that he doesn't love you and she is just insurance that Hajime doesn't go sideways. Hajime tries to shoot him, but he misses every time due to the intense crap the other Hajime is talking about. Hajime lowers his guard and this allows the imposter to take his shot, but instantly, Hajime smacks him into a wall. The guy is flabbergasted because he just got hit by a tank. Hajime says that he is not a human anymore and maybe his family won't accept him. But he is a true fan of Eren Yeager, so he will keep moving forward even if he has to kill everyone from this world. The Shadow makes a final attempt to kill Hajime, but he gets smacked into the wall again. He can't believe how Hajime is defeating him since both are the same person, but Hajime reveals that he has become stronger in mid-battle after analyzing his own moves. He shoots the Shadow, and so the trial is over and the magical gate appears. On the other hand, Shizuku is scared because of her earlier experience in the labyrinth, so she is very conscious. Suddenly, her shadow image emerges as well, and is way stronger than her. The two Monis clash with each other, but the African-American Shizuku looks stronger. She slashes Shizuku's face and sends her into a wall. Just like the other Hajime, she starts yapping about how she wants to wear cute Japanese clothes and live a peaceful life with no bloodlust. Also, her shadow tells her that Shizuku is a cheater, and once she is saved by Nagumo Hajime, she starts loving her. She insists that Shizuku is a cheater who loves her best friend's lover, and she can't match Yu's strength or match her best friend's charm. That's why she attacked Kaori in the Labyrinth, because Shizuku is never considered a real woman. Shizuku can't hear this, but the shadow pierces her neck and kicks her into a wall. Shizuku loses her might and starts crying as she doesn't want to die. However, just when the shadow is about to kill her, Shizuku closes her eyes, but someone grabs the sword. When she opens her eyes, it turns out that Hajime has already come to her aid, and just like every Sigma Chad, Hajime says that he came right on time, or otherwise, Shizuku would have gone to eternal sleep. She looks at Hajime with utter shock on her face because he never expected him to appear. Hajime grabs the sword and uses his lightning magic to break it into pieces. He gives a potion to Shizuku and tells her to suck it up, which she obliges like a good girl. Shizuku wonders if he is the real Hajime, so she touches his face and Hajime gets rizzed. She asks for Hajime to help her defeat her negative image, but Hajime tells her that she can do it on her own. All she needs is the pink helmet he gave her earlier. Shizuku gets pissed, and she would rather die than wear that creep-ass helmet. Hajime tells her that she can defeat her with the increased perception of the pink helmet, but Shizuku says that she doesn't need it. That is the whole plot that makes Shizuku realize that she can kill her negative emotions without anyone's help. Hajime also ensures her that he will keep an eye on her in case she needs her help. Shizuku feels confident and she's ready to kick the other Shizuku's butt, but she double-checks if Hajime would help her, and he agrees. The black image starts her yapping, saying that she is currently cheating on her best friend, but Shizuku doesn't give a flying F anymore. She accepts her negative emotions, saying that these emotions made her who she is now, so she doesn't care. Just like that, their second round begins, and in the blink of an eye, Shizuku cuts through her image. However, she loses her pony and loses her balance. Hajime quickly grabs her and Shizuku clings to her because she wants to show all of her emotions. Hajime wonders if she has some loose screws, but Shizuku just wants to show her true colors. The entrance appears and Shizuku wants Hajime to make a new pony for her with regenerative abilities. Hajime obliges like a good boy and Shizuku wants him to carry her like a princess. However, Hajime carries her on his back and Shizuku reveals that she loves him and she will tell everyone. Hajime gets scared because he knows the consequences will be dangerous. After that, we see Suzu taking on her alter image, and she tells her that the world would have been a better place if she had accepted her fate and stopped Eri. However, Suzu already knew what would happen, but she still looked away. Suzu gets a bit sad, but she accepts that her negative emotions will get stronger if she looks away, so she accepts the negative reality. She says that she still loves all those who are closer to her, and she doesn't care about her alter reality with the current one. And so she defeats her image, and Sakagami appears to help her. Suzu asks what Sakagami got in his trial, and he replies that his image just called him a slob and a side character. Suzu makes fun of him and he tells her to shut up. After that, they go to the place where Taiyo is facing her alter image, which forces her that she should take revenge on all those humans, gods, and demigods who took everything away from her. Just like the rest of the trials, Taiyo wins this one after yapping about her acceptance of reality that the one thing she wanted was for Hajime to look at her so he could punish her for doing such a close call. Sakagami and Suzu look at her with pitiful eyes. Quickly, we are taken to a barren land where thousands of dead soldiers are seen as if a monster killed them, while Princess Yu looks at them like trash. Clear helplessness is shown on the face of the dead bodies, and as Yu is looking at them, her uncle appears and says that her regenerative abilities are quite dangerous because she becomes careless and lenient. Not only that, Yu is in her gown, so her uncle wants her to return to her majesty. Meanwhile, back in the labyrinth, Yu is facing off her altered image and she is getting these flashbacks. Her alter image tells Yu that there is nothing like trust in this cursed world because her uncle, whom he trusted the most, even betrayed her. That's when we see that when Yu's father decided to make her the new heir, her uncle betrayed her and stabbed her in the chest because he wanted all of the king's possessions. The Dark Yu decides to use this to her advantage, but Yu accepts her fate. She says that it was thanks to her uncle and his betrayal that sent her to the abyss, where she was able to meet Hajime. The altered image starts to weaken and Yu is now ready to kill that ugly bitch once and for all. She prepared her ultimate attack to kill her shadow, but that's when we see she taking on her negative emotion. But unlike the other shadows who were stronger than their real image, She's shadow is way weaker than her, and it is because she accepted her fate a long time ago. That's why she didn't get weakened by the negative remarks. So she blows her negative shadow with a powerful blow. However, Yu is having a hard time with her shadow because she tells her that Hajime will not stay with her forever. Yu wonders if she's true when the negative shadow throws a powerful blow towards her, which knocks her down. Even after taking too many hits, Yu persists, saying that Hajime will never leave her, and even if he does, she wouldn't worry about him because he had a she, Taiyo, and Kaori. Hence, Yu goes all out and turns her negative emotions into ashes. Suddenly, she arrives and Yu asks how her trail goes. She replies that she was ahead by a mile, but Yu is not in a happy mood, so she tells She that she would take care of Hajime if she goes away. She gets pissed and smacks the Will Smith out of Yu because she wants her to take those words back. She starts attacking Yu, and she wonders what has gone into She. She explains that Yu has gone soft because the real Yu won't say such crap. Yu tells her to stop this prank, but she is dead serious because if Yu wants to leave Hajime, she will be gone in the future, so she doesn't want a future where Yu won't exist. She starts crying and jumps into the air to take out Yu. That's when we see Kaori taking on her altered image, and as they fight each other, Kaori is about to land the final blow when Yu comes flying through a wall. She is pissed because she doesn't want to get involved in Yu's matter, and hence, she calls her midget with a flat track to play Formula 1. This is the last straw, and Yu is not going to hold back. The two women start to diss each other, calling each other a hag, pervert, and a bunch of other stuff that I can't say here. Meanwhile, Kaori is just looking at them, and when the two get tired, she starts crying, saying that she doesn't want Yu to go away. However, Kaori doesn't like this at all because she was so close to clearing her trial and they just ruined her character development. Lastly, we see Koki taking over his negative shadow, but it turns out that his shadow is far stronger than him. This is all due to Koki's childish mind as he can't accept the reality. The shadow explains that Koki is always afraid of Hajime and he is not even close to his strength level. That's why he is jealous of him. Koki still doesn't accept it and his shadow kicks him away because he is getting stronger and stronger. He also reveals that even the girls don't like him and Shizuku will left him alone as well. Kaori and all the other girls only like Hajime and he is just a side character to them. These thoughts start to take over Hajime and that's when the worst thing happens. Hajime enters the trial with Shizuku on his back. This snaps Koki and he charges towards Hajime. Hajime thinks that Koki is just playing around, but Koki really considers Hajime the root of all evil. He swings his sword and is about to hit Shizuku, but Hajime barely manages to evade it. Even in this condition, the hot chick is asleep and Hajime puts a barrier around them. She wakes up the disgusting brat and tells her to help Koki. Shizuku instantly wakes up and tells Koki to stop resisting and accept his negative thoughts. But Koki is like a cousin that nobody likes and he goes insane. He thinks that Shizuku is still thinking about him even after getting brainwashed by Hajime, but he will save them. Koki rushes towards Hajime and Hajime pulls out his guns, but Shizuku tries to stop them. However, the negative shadow stops Shizuku so the real Koki can take revenge on Hajime. Koki says that he will free Shizuku, and Kaori from his brainwashing trap, and then he will fend off all the enemies. Hajime kicks him in the gut because he doesn't like anyone talking about his chicks. Koki goes flying into a wall, but his negative emotions get the better of him and the two of them combine. This gives Koki some unusual boost of power and even Hajime's bombs doesn't work on him. Koki thinks that he can defeat Hajime now, but he is totally a fool, so Hajime kicks his ass. Suddenly, the rest of the members arrive, and they try to stop him, but Koki thinks that they are brainwashed as well, so he should help them and kill Hajime for good. He launches towards Hajime, but he shoots him down. Hajime is tired of this weakling just like me, so he summons magical ropes which tie him and uses his Master Blaster cannon to take out this bastard. Shizuku tells him to stop, but Hajime doesn't listen, and he shoots Koki. Koki doesn't die, but his alter shadow does, and to make up for all the mess he just caused, Hajime punches him in the face for not being a loyal dog. Kaori jumps in to heal the poor lad since his soul has taken a lot of damage, but Hajime tells her not to heal him completely because he will cause more trouble for them. Koki is the only one who didn't clear the trial, hence he will feel guilty. So Sakagami puts him on his back and they venture deeper to finally reach the final trial palace. Hajime and the gang keep pushing, finally hitting the last stretch of this cursed-ass labyrinth. Their path leads straight to a giant ice castle, its frozen walls shining like some fairy tale bullshit. But they ain't here to admire the scenery. They step inside, barely catching a damn breath before the next trial slaps them across the face. Hajime and Yu gotta pour their magic into some ancient-looking contraption just to move forward. The catch? This thing guzzles mana like a star demon, sucking them dry in seconds. Before they even realize it, the drain hits hard, knocking both of them clean the hell out. When they come to, they've already been dragged to safety, thanks to the crew pulling their weight. As expected, Yu wastes zero time getting all up in Hajime's space, looking damn ready to start some shit. But before she can turn up the heat, she, Kaori, and Yegashi storm in, cock-blocking with military precision. No peace, no privacy, just a bunch of meddlers killing the vibe. Once they get cleaned up and back on their feet, it's time to sort out their next move. Getting back to the human world ain't some Sunday stroll. They need to master evolution magic, and let's be real, that shit ain't happening overnight. No time to sit around crying about it, though. Hajime pieces together a plan. If Yu's magic control and his alchemy skills get in sync, they can craft an artifact strong enough to punch through the dimensions. The crew backs off to let them cook, leaving Hajime and Yu locked in full grind mode. Meanwhile, Amanagola finally wakes up from his coma, but instead of getting his shit together, he immediately dives headfirst into a guilt spiral. Dude wants to apologize for the weak-ass stunt he pulled with Hajime, but the second he finds out Yegashi picked Hajime's side, his ego takes a critical hit, and instead of owning up to his mistakes like a grown-ass man, he just starts acting salty again, flinging more accusations like some whiny little punk. Kaori ain't about to entertain this clownery anymore. Her patience snaps, and before he can spew another word, she slaps the ever-loving hell out of him. The The crack echoes through the room loud enough to wake the dead, shutting his ass down on the spot. But nobody gets to chill because right then, the whole damn place starts shaking. A pulse of energy explodes from Hajime and Yu's workspace, the magic swirling like a storm ready to break loose. Everyone rushes in only to see the power they're stirring up reaching some next-level shit. And then, like a cursed movie reel playing straight from hell, Hajime's past starts spilling out in raw, ugly flashes. His brutal crawl through the depths of the great Orcus Labyrinth. Betrayed, abandoned, left to rot. Every cut, every scar, every ounce of pain that turned him into the monster standing before them now. The vision fades, and there it is, the completed artifact. Hajime and Yu hit the ground completely drained like they just got their souls wrung out. Kadore moves fast, dumping healing magic into them before they can flatline. A quick test proves the artifact works, exactly what they need. With a real shot at getting home, the crew locks in for the final stretch. Suzu and the other classmates head off to Verbingen, cramming in whatever last-minute training they can before the real fight drops. But fate, that bitch ain't patient. Their departure comes faster than expected. Just as Hajime and the gang step through the portal, a massive dragon swoops in from nowhere, snatching them up and hauling their asses straight to the final battlefield. And waiting on the other side, Eri, Fried, and a whole damn army of Noites. No need for words. This fight ain't over. Not even close.